You already know what time it is. It's Victory Monday. I'm fresh off of the plane from JFK right to the Wayne Breezie studios. We're going to have a great show because I got my man Aaron from 49ers First Takes, and we're going to talk about the beat down in Steel Town. Stick around right here on the Wayne Breezie Show.
We so bright that we shining. All we know is the Niners. Red and gold at its finest. We so faithful to the bay. We so bright that we shining. All we know is the Niners. Red and gold at its finest. We so faithful to the bay. Yeah.
What's going on? We are back. Aaron, how are you feeling? It's Victory Monday. Shout out to our sponsors over at Residency. Go to www.residency.com. You can see I'm rocking the fresh jizz on. That's that Golden Gate right there. They got the Golden Gate in there. You know what I'm saying? But use the promo code SF Breezy. Aaron, what's going on? Shout out to the Breezy's bunch, but I need to hear from my boy, man. I know you've been patiently waiting. It's Monday. It's our day. How you feeling, bro?
Oh, man, dude, that was, listen, me and my brother both, when we watch games, we always expect the worst, right? Because we're just that in the New Yorker mentality, like prepare for the worst and be surprised by if your team actually like smacks somebody. Bro, I didn't think we were going to smack them down like that. I thought we were going to win. I thought it would be a competitive game where like we were worried in the fourth quarter and contemplating, if we should eat dinner because it might give us heartburn. Nah, dude, like that. Wow, that was beautiful. Brock Purdy picking up where he left off last year. Brandon Aiyuk. I think Brandon Aiyuk's arrived, brother. No doubt in my mind. And Christian McCaffrey, just, dude, we're loaded. Again, I didn't think it was going to be like this. I thought it was going to be more hard fought. Like you watched the Dolphins game, me and my brother, that was, oh my God, that was like a stress game. If you had fingernails before that game, it was gone. They were gone. So very happy. Very much have changed a little bit of my expectations now just because of how dominant they were yesterday. I've kind of risen my expectations a little bit. I don't know if you feel the same way, but yeah, it was great, man. I'm very, very happy.
That's what I like to hear, bro. I tell you what, I'll share my expectations after we get through some of the formalities of the show. Make sure you guys are going to, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're not watching on YouTube, all right, make sure you go to youtube.com/@TheWayneBreezy, all right? 49ers First Takes will be in the description of the show. So all you got to do is click on the little @ where his name is, and it'll take you right to his page. So make sure you go ahead. If you're not already subscribed to 49ers First Takes, you can do that as well. If you're listening on the podcast, make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe and leave a 5-star rating, especially on Apple. Spotify podcast is I didn't know how great Spotify podcast was, but a lot of people listen on Spotify podcast. Matter of fact, this weekend, Aaron, when I was at the events, a lot of people was like, hey, I never get a chance to watch, but I listen all the time. And I'm like, yo, podcasts are still alive. All right. Mm-hmm. So make sure you guys go ahead and check out the podcast, Spotify, as well as on Apple Podcasts and any of your favorite podcasting networks that you listen to your podcast on. All right. Make sure you guys go ahead and do that. Shout out to everybody over there on Twitter. Twitter X, formerly known as Twitter. It's the dumbest We're not even going to get into it. At the Wayne Breezy, TikTok, Instagram, Threads as well. You can follow. You can also subscribe, all right? And for those that have been members of the Patreon, the exclusive content is coming this week. I'm excited to give you guys some breakdowns and things like that. And on These Are the Breaks. And we're going to have some fun over there on the Patreon. So thank you so much for being Patreon members throughout the off season and your contributions over there. Get ready for a great, great season. All right. And listen, there's a fresh apparel. Now, we got the BA1K shirts right now, hot off the press. You're going to want to go to www.twben.com/shop. If y'all were sleeping on Brandon Aiyuk, you need to hold up. up because he had a monstrous game on yesterday. We'll figure out who's the player of the game. He had a monstrous game on yesterday. And he like Aaron said, he has arrived. All right, Brandon Aiyuk has arrived. So go ahead and cop your BA1K shirts right now, right there, www.twben.com/shop. Shout out to everybody that's a member of the Breezie's Bunch crew. You guys are in here. I got to show them some love, bro, real quick, and then we'll go ahead and get the show started. But listen, I got to go back to the top because I just got home. So I'm still discombobulated. Boss is in the building. My man says Steelers jumped up to get punks jumped up to get beat down. I already knew the voice. I knew the voice from New York. Knew the voice. All right. Shout out to you, boss. What's going on? Jackson's in the building. Hey, Breezie and Faithful didn't make it to the game because of the dang weather. My flights was delayed. Oh man, we got some story. I got stories as well. But I made it to Pittsburgh after the fact and had the best time. Have a great show. I'm glad you were safe. You made it to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a decent city, Aaron. I tell you what, Aaron, I was in Pittsburgh and not one, I didn't run into one salty fan. Can you explain how Pittsburgh is that much different from Philadelphia? Because Philadelphia fans are just off the chain. It's crazy.
Yeah, I couldn't ever go to a place like that because I would have to take care of things a different way. You know what I'm saying?
We'd be in jail. Yeah, like let's just say it like it is. We'll be locked up. We'll be on our Acon, behind bars for a day. And Philly's so bad that the police officers are just as like they are Philadelphia fans. Like it's like so the police you will get zero help. That's crazy, right?
That's
I just want
ridiculous.
I want to show my love to the city of Pittsburgh. Beautiful city. And the people there, they were just beautiful. And this was before the beatdown. And then after the beatdown, you know how many people came up to me, Aaron, and said, you know what? Congratulations and good luck this season. Nothing was salty. Nothing.
That's rare, especially for anybody on the East. Like if you're a Northeast fan of any team, like Bills, Jets, Giants, whatever, there's a lot of hostility in New York. The fact that you went to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which is probably about 4 hours from where I live, and it's that different. That's interesting. I don't know. Maybe the food's really good down there. There's a lot of Italians that live down there, so maybe everybody's just baking. You know, they're full on that pasta or whatever, so they're just become more docile. They don't have time to get pissed off. I don't know.
I love it. The funny thing is, I went to Primanti Bros. And I have to give it bad ratings. I didn't go to the original one, and I didn't realize that they were a chain now. So that's probably why the experience wasn't great. But I did go to one, and it was so mid. Like the bread was all right. My meat was dried. I got the Angus burger or the Angus meat or whatever. I don't know, but I was disappointed. My fries weren't fresh. I was very disappointed in Primanti Bros. Yeah, the one I went to. Which was not in Pittsburgh because I was a little outside of Pittsburgh. But listen, Niner Game Podcast, you already know, bang, bang, Niner Game. BA went off, put the league on notice. Drake Jackson showed everyone he is a beast.
All truth.
All truth. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and show you some love. Aaron, let me just get your thoughts on the game while I show them some love out there, all right? So I just want to get your takes, man. This is what you're here for. I want to get the first takes from the man himself. What were some of your first takes from this game?
Was surprised how Pittsburgh was just so out of answers when it came to our defense. Because we don't really do a lot of extravagant window dressing with our defense. We're pretty much we play it how you see it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of 4 men rushing the quarterback, a lot of coverage. There wasn't anything specifically that I saw that I was like, man, the Niners are really dialing it up here. And they looked baffled. They looked confused. I thought. I expected more out of their quarterback, Pickett.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, I thought, well, you know, a lot of us Niner fans were talking before the game and in the preseason about, well, we can't sleep on the Steelers. We can't sleep on the Steelers. We're got to go to the Northeast. It's going to be a tough game. It's an early 1 o'clock start, yada, 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 yada. And I kind of let my mind buy into it. So I went into the game expecting the Niners to really have to tough it out. You know, maybe their defense would look a little rough and they'd have to offensively get into a shootout. And for us to come out of that game and really the only drive we gave up a score on was a penalty drive, like it was exacerbated by a penalty, which was questionable to say the least.
Nah, it wasn't questionable. Definitely wasn't. Not the first one. The late hit, bro. Dude was out of bounds, and Deontay Lenore.
But he was in the air though, so like.
Nah, he was going out of bounds. They're gonna call that every time. They did that last night. I think in the game last night too. Like, if he's going out of bounds, you can't dive. Like,
I know.
You don't need to hit him. There was already a defender on him, so
I felt like that was a Drake Greenlaw thing, but
and it went to Lenore, right?
By osmosis, by marination, he picked up some of his tendencies.
Bingo. And Greenlaw played a hell of a clean game.
Wow, our linebackers looked phenomenal in this game.
So, Aaron, I came up with a nickname, and can't nobody take it because I put it on Twitter first. So if I see somebody with it, I'm coming for you. They know that, though. But the nickname for Fred Warner, are you familiar with the movie Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the original one? Okay. And the reason why I called him the Predator is because if you watch the way he played, he was so camouflaged, and then he came out of nowhere and was just like, pew! It was like he zapped into time and then made the tackle for a loss. That was Fred Warner. I think he got pushed once back and the whole game. Fred Warner is a monster, and he's getting better and better every year. And you could tell it's not the fact that he's getting better physically. He's getting better mentally, understanding, like, I seen this before. I done this. I know this. Now I got my tricks. I got sleeves. You know what I'm saying? So, like, he's matured so much in this game to where it's really hard to get around him. And I feel like he's playing with lightning speed now, which is scary. Because if Fred Warner is playing with that type of speed, with that type of force, he's a deadly weapon, bro. They might have to arrest him every game. Like, he's literally out there just darting like bullets, bro. So what was your thoughts on Fred Warner?
I thought Fred played a great game. I thought the 49ers, especially Fred, this team has experience. They've had some deep runs since he's been there, right? I feel like the more experience you get as a player, in different circumstances, having a season that's super successful, having a season that's not really successful. Like, this team, this core of players is so experienced that I guess we shouldn't be surprised how well they went into Pittsburgh and took care of business as easy as they did. Like, I feel like as a person, I have to be constantly reminded just how fantastic this team really is. And Fred Warner, like you said, man, he was on it yesterday. Somebody said
my favorite player, bro.
Maybe somebody was they had the plays of the Steelers, like they were able to hear them or something. Just how quickly they diagnose things, man. It was a great game. This team has been tested, so this game really for them was just business as usual. Maybe for us fans like myself, we look at it and we say, "Oh man, it's going to be a real difficult one." East Coast, 1:00. Pittsburgh has a really talented squad. Their quarterback's up and coming, all this stuff. We all, a lot of us bit into it. You didn't. So like I said, like the ass kicking that they put on them yesterday was, wow. Like, okay, I'm not going to try to get used to this because I don't want us to go in every game thinking we just smack people. But Fred Warner was the guy, like you said, he's Predator, man. He's got those dreads swinging around.
I wasn't even thinking of that correlation, but perfect fit. If he could just make his helmet a little bit larger, and then, oh man, that's scary. Yo, Fred, you got Fred the Pred. Nah, that don't sound right. Wait, we can't call him a Predator either. That's not good.
We gotta call him Predator.
The Predator. The Predator. No, but you have to. You can't call him a Predator. That's like for us, we know what that means.
Really bad if
you get what I'm saying. You get what it just hit me. So. Shout out to everybody that knew what we were saying, but if the wrong person in this generation hears that word, it will be bad. So the Predator it is. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate that. That's going on a t-shirt. Yeah. Miss Debbie, how are you, Miss Debbie? We have a pin for you. We got a game day pin for you. I was able to find them, and to God be the glory, because I wasn't going to sit down until I got one. So Miss Debbie, you are been taken care of. All the members of the Breezie Brunch, I see you up there. While Aaron is talking, I'll definitely make sure to post it. I know I saw a question really quickly of how many snaps that Nick Bosa had, and it was 35. He played 35 snaps. They said before the game they wanted him to play between 30 and 40, so he played right there in the middle of the two numbers, right? 35, well, 37 something would have been the middle, but no, 35 is the middle. So he played 35, and Nick Bosa didn't get any sacks, but man, he was highly effective because he still was getting chipped and double teamed, bro.
Yep.
Like they were throwing the whole kitchen sink at him, and he was getting there. I didn't pay attention to see how many times he was held. I'm gonna do that when I watch the all 22. I'm pretty sure he was held a couple of times, bro. A couple of times.
Amazing how many times you watch slow motion film of him, and that offensive lineman hand comes up around the throat.
Right at the neck. Right at the neck.
He's
right
so strong. I'm not surprised he didn't have a sack yesterday, and I'm also not surprised that they limited his snaps because he hasn't had a preseason. You know what I mean?
Well, that was expected. You're right.
You can work out all you want, dude, but like being in the heat and going up against other players, that's a whole different thing. So I expect him to have a slow start to this season. A lot of people are saying he's going to have 18 to 20 sacks. I think maybe we should drop that down to around 12 to 15. I know that sounds really low, but you got to understand that, like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's going to come in the next game and get 3 sacks, and then I'll shut up. But I'm kind of not surprised at that, and I'm glad other people on that defense stepped up yesterday. And I mean, 5 sacks. They had 5 sacks.
Listen,
so
bro.
I
bet you didn't know this. I'm gonna tell you right now. Chris Kocurek is doing the Grinch smile. Let's see if I could do it.
Yeah, the one where it grows up right here.
I can't get it that far back. Let me tell you why. PFF's grades, the top 6 grades was his defensive line. Nick Bosa leading the way. Cleveland Farrell number 2. The top 6 grades were his defensive line. Matter of fact, the top 5 were all graded 80. And then Eric Armstead with a 78 or something like that, close
That's
to
insane,
80.
Dude. Like, I didn't know that. That's
the defensive line didn't give up. Let's go through the stats. They didn't give up 100 yards rushing, right?
He was a non-factor. That running game was shut.
Listen,
down.
Kevin Givens' grade was high. Okay, like even the depth. That's my point. We kept questioning how will the depth be and things like that. I don't think we have anything to worry about. The fact that Bosa wasn't there might have enabled this defensive line to be better. The fact that he was there allowed them to be better, allowed them to be themselves, like really, right? Because now the depth is fresh. And I thought the defensive line, man, I felt like the pressures were there. You talked about 5 sacks. Drake Jackson, we got to give him a round of applause. I said round of applause, not a boo stick. So he gets the round of applause because did you see how they were? Okay, so this is when you want to know. I was getting so excited. Let me tell you. So I was watching the game and I was like, oh snap! Emory Thomas is starting, right? Emory Thomas starting. First of all, Emory Thomas played really good, right? Until they started playing prevent defense, and then he was giving up to underneath routes, blah 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 blah, whatever. But that was after all those damn penalties, right? I was like, oh snap, right? So they started when they came out in their nickel defense. Deommodore Lenoir was the nickel. And the base defense,
talked about that too.
He went to the outside. We talked about it right here on the show. Aaron, I'm tired of people not listening to us, bro. I don't know what we got to do to get people to understand the words that are coming out of our mouths.
Insane. I think a lot of us talked about that during the preseason. They're like, how are they going to approach this? How are they going to approach bringing, like, who's the slot guy? Like, they're going to. Is it Isaiah Oliver just automatically, or what's the game plan? And I noticed Ambry Thomas on the outside, and I don't fault him when you give up those kind of plays because you're playing prevent. You know, you're letting everything beneath. Yeah. I hate it. I hate a prevent defense because I think is essentially pitch and catch. But what it does is it causes the other team to use a lot of clock. So I understood it. But yeah, I thought he played great. I thought the Niners secondary as a whole played great. I don't even know how to say this, but like, whatever we thought we saw in the preseason, is nothing compared to what we saw yesterday.
It was all a test. It was all testing their strengths and their weaknesses. And I think that's where the Niners are from now on. So even when they draft, those players are probably going to get attention. those players are going to get the reps. Even when they sign those free agents, those players are going to get the reps. Now Isaiah Oliver was out there as well, and he played, but it was on matchups. It was when they would put certain people in a position, and to be in the slot. When they put those bigger guys in the slot, you saw Isaiah Oliver come out there. But just to see Diamador Lenore and the confidence of him going in the nickel was dope. I mean, he gave up a player or two, but he was also all over the field. I mean, like, and that to me lets us know that Steve Wilks is going to improve the secondary drastically. I mean, they had how many interceptions yesterday? Two? Was it Mooney Ward and
Gibson?
Talanoa it was Hufanga, but he pitched it to Gibson, right? That's what happened, right?
Right. You're right.
So they both have one. Fred Warner almost had one. People are mad Fred didn't get that interception, but I'll tell you right now, his momentum he was too fast. So his momentum was like all the way going one way, and the ball was through behind him. And he tried, but he just couldn't get it. So I can't wait to see. I want to make sure that's what I saw, but I felt like in living color, that's what I saw. I don't know what you saw on TV, but it looked like he was going one way and then he was trying to hold on to the ball. Maybe it just was thrown to him and he didn't know it was coming and he dropped it.
His hands and his momentum were doing different things.
That's what I thought. Okay, see?
He's a whirling dervish, you know what I mean? He's always moving, spinning, and hitting and all that stuff. So sometimes like I saw it and I was like, oh, and then he dropped it. I was like, because I get selfish. When we start to have good like play on defense, we start picking off passes. I'm like, how many can we get? And when he dropped that, I was disappointed. But whatever. It wasn't like the game tilted on his missed interception. But I just felt like his body and his hands are doing different things. So, whew, man. They look good. I was pleasantly surprised.
And the reason why, Aaron, we wanted to start with the D is because they came out guns blazing. They came out with the energy. Remember, I kept saying if we'll see, and that was I'm not saying that they wouldn't have came out with that same energy because Fred is the energy, but Nick Bosa changes the mindset of how the offenses have to prepare. Mm-hmm. And so him being available, even with limited snaps, made their offense have to adjust. Kenny Pickett was trash. Did he look good in prevent defense? I mean, you better be able to hit guys that are wide open. I mean, if you can't hit a wide open target, you don't belong playing quarterback in the NFL. And literally on that drive, everybody was wide open. I mean, he was also helped with tons of penalties, right? 2 from Diamador Lenore, right? Like 2, the personal foul and the defensive holding to me, which was questionable. That was the questionable one, but that gave him like 1st and goal. Like it was. And then the defense almost stood him up again, and that was on 4th down. So discipline. So that and there's a lot that I feel like the defense still has to work on. But I thought the one thing that I loved the most about the defense was the communication. Right? I didn't see Hufanga over pursue. I didn't see and you saw that they were working together like a well-oiled machine, right? Like everything was working in place. The front and it started up front, so the front was good. And that's what I meant to tell you. On them 3rd and 7s, them 3rd and 8s, anything past 3rd and 5, guess who came into the game? Drake Action Jackson. Peachy, I like that name. Action Drake Jackson. He came in the game. What did he do? Wreck shop. Every time. 3 sacks. 3 freaking sacks. Shout out to Kerry Hyder as well. And Javon Hargrave got his first sack with the Niners.
I think you need to make a new song.
What's that?
Saying, I'm sorry, Drake Jackson.
Ooh,
you are for real.
You are for real. Hey, never meant to make that dude cry. Quarterback cry. I apologize a million times. Hey, say less. That's going down. I'm gonna do a bunch of remixes. We got that. I got something else in the works. But yeah, like I was just so happy to see the defense come out fast and strong, aka fast and furious. And that's what I feel like our defense is. And I know they are the blueprint to what the defenses need to be in the NFL. Because if you look at the Dallas Cowboys, because we're going to be playing them soon, they remind you of the San Francisco 49ers. They're trying to get fast and furious. They had a good game last night against the New York Giants, right? And so, like, I'm looking at them because I feel like right now in the NFC, that's our competition. Eagles, They was all right. They barely beat the Patriots. Jalen Hurts got hit so hard, I don't think he realized where he was. I don't know if you've seen that hit, but Jabril Peppers, and this is what happens when you're a quarterback that runs the ball. Like that, it only take one defender to come and tee off on you the legal way, right? Because he was going head first, not feet first. Whoa, he got popped. He wasn't the same, but the game was, they ended up winning. But so I'm looking at the Cowboys. I know it was the Giants, but I'm not worried about the Cowboys week 5, bro. And I know I jumped 4 games ahead. We got the daggone LA Rams next. But when I looked at the Cowboys, I saw what they did. We just got to figure out how to keep their defense from being fast and furious, right? And that's easy because look at the way our offense played. And let's transition to the offense. So let's talk about the offensive side. Where you want to start, bro? Still got some kinks to work out.
Well, let's talk offensive line.
Okay, let's start there.
Let's talk the one weakness that I saw yesterday.
Okay.
And it was essentially the right side.
Right side.
Burford had how many penalties? 3? 2?
And thank you that you said the right side, because it was definitely a collective thing, and they just couldn't get right. Don't get it twisted. Trent Williams had a holding penalty as well. But when you look at that, like that was a problem. The whole right side. And mainly when you mention Spencer Burford, I love me some big Burford, right? When you mention him, his penalties literally cost the 49ers drives.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. When you have to start off 1st and 20, it's just different. It's just different. It's a different game plan. You got to attack. You got to try to get back, 7 yards on that first play. And then it's a 2nd and whatever, 12, whatever. And then you got to try to get another chunk. And then you get the first down if you can convert. It just makes it a little bit harder. So his penalties I felt like cost the 49ers drives to where they could have actually scored points, whether it was a touchdown drive or a field goal drive. And then Colton McKivitz gave up what? 2 sacks? 3 sacks?
No, he gave up 3 sacks, and it's hard to judge. And I think people, we need to wait a couple weeks.
I gotta watch the film too.
Is it TJ Watt?
It's TJ Watt. It was all TJ Watt.
Is he just trash McKivitz?
I don't think it's McKivitz is trash. It's just TJ Watt is that dude, right?
Yeah. So, one of the sacks that happened, or I think it was registered as a sack. That was more on Brock Purdy.
He got to get rid of the goddamn ball.
The one where he fumbled the ball and he held it under his butt, like that was on Purdy. You got to have better ball security than that. You cannot. I know he probably doesn't have super big hands because he's not a really big guy, but
that's where the measurables come in. Oh,
when you have small hands, man, that ball pops out easy. And then the one where he got kind of whacked in ear hold again.
He gave
feel
up
like
3 sacks, bro.
Yeah, I feel like Purdy, as good as he played yesterday, there were a couple times where he could have got rid of the ball a little quicker. But that one hit where he got smacked and the ball came out and he caught it under his butt, you got to get rid of that, man. You got to toss that thing away.
That and to me, that is the main thing that I feel Purdy has to, he has to get that. Like that he has, to me, Purdy has everything else, but he has to. There was one play where I don't want to say he was indecisive, but I thought when you pump the ball, that's being indecisive. At least it was when Trey Lance was here. So I don't know if we keep that same language for Brock Purdy. I mean, I will, but he was pumping and it was indecisive and it was holding the ball. And next thing you know, bam, bam, bam. I'm like, dude, like, get rid of the ball.
Yeah.
Get rid of it. And so, to me, if Brock can improve in that, oh my gosh. And I think that will come.
I think Brock Purdy's going to be just fine. I think
absolutely.
The 49ers, I think the one thing about Purdy, and you could say, and this is where the differentiation comes in from a guy like, say, Justin Fields. Justin Fields has all the measurables that you want in a quarterback, but Brock Purdy has all of the mental and he has all the traits that you can't measure.
He's a freaking quarterback, bro.
Yeah. Justin Fields is essentially a running back playing quarterback. He can't read the defense. He's indecisive. He's slow to see the defense, but he's got everything else you want, right? And then maybe that's kind of what a lot of people thought of Trey in some sense too. I don't know if that's. I think Trey's a better quarterback than Justin Fields, but Purdy lacks all the physical stuff, but the mental side of it, he's a savant, so to speak. So
I like that word.
It's crazy, man. Like, yeah, everybody could have been better yesterday. Every time there's a win like that, everybody just tries to sweep things under the rug.
I like that you said that.
I thought the run defense played great, but maybe I don't know, maybe the pass defense could have been a little bit tighter at some points in the game. But you can't.
You
have
mean the
all.
offense, the offensive line you talk about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Let me switch back to offense. Yeah, I thought the offense line run blocking was fantastic. I thought they looked great in run blocking yesterday.
Good God.
Christian McCaffrey, my God.
So
I didn't
check.
Yeah.
We're fourth. I think we're fourth on the list so far this year in offensive yards. We had 391. All right. Miami is number one. As you saw what they did. They threw the ball a lot more though.
Yes.
And this game to me was super lopsided. I mean, like at one point it was like 199 yards to 1.
Yep.
Yeah. But what killed us, we had 11 penalties. And that 85 yard, 11 penalties for 85, that has to be addressed, period. Like, that is uncalled for. Like, to me, that can make or break a game. Let's just say we didn't win the turnover battle, bro. Let's just say we didn't win it. And we didn't. We didn't win the turnover battle. Well, we did.
We only had one. We had one fumble go against us.
We had no interceptions though.
We had 2-1. Yeah, we won 2-1.
But let's just say we didn't win the turnover battle. That's where those penalties could have really hurt us.
Yeah, I didn't even realize they had 11 penalties yesterday.
Bro, the offensive line was I don't want to say they were atrocious because they played really well. Again, like you said, in that run blocking game. And they were pretty well in protecting Brock. It was just on that right side when TJ Watt just teed off. And you know what? Look, they had an injury to their defensive tackle, and we took advantage of it. And that's exactly what you're supposed to do. I mean, it's unfortunate that he got injured, but if our player got injured, the other team would have took advantage of it, right? It's football. And so that's where it comes down to, we watched that happen to us. I mean, prayers up for Cameron Hayward. I'm hoping he'll be able to get his groin together and play for the remainder of the season. But it definitely hindered them a bit. But I think the 49ers were going to continue to attack, and they were going to attack in the ground game. And
we would have won regardless of the turnover battle. I thought we were the better team, hands down, yesterday.
We definitely were the better team. But if they would have won that turnover battle, being home, it could have changed the momentum and shifted it a little bit, right? Like, and I'm not saying that I know we won 30-7, but the thing is, if you lose a turnover battle, it's hard to win those games.
Right.
Now, if it was even, yeah, no doubt. But by the time they got their turn, that fumble, like it was kind of out of reach, right? Like it was kind of like there's nothing they could do. The defense was too dominant, and I felt like the offense continued to find ways to sustain drives. And that was key. Like, for me, like the offense continued to figure out how to sustain drives. And the only drives that they couldn't sustain was when they started off with a dumb penalty, or they ended up getting a penalty, and it would take them out of some type of scoring range. That's how I look at it. But you talked about running the ball. Let's talk about Christian McCaffrey. All right. Now, the 49ers overall collectively, 34 carries, 188 yards. And guess what? They average 5.5 yards per carry. That's what
Beautiful.
The 49ers rushing attack did. And that's what we're going to talk about, because Christian McCaffrey was ground and pound in this game. Like, ground and pound. That's an old Madden term. If you guys remember those cards, they used to have ground and pound chemistries. What were your thoughts about this running game, bro? Christian McCaffrey, 22 carries, 152 yards, 6.9 yards per carry. With that long of 65 yards, we could talk about that play till the day we are blue in the face, bro. It's on you.
I thought Christian McCaffrey played amazing. I thought it was mostly on him, because I don't know if Kyle Shanahan just got scared away from Elijah Mitchell dropping that pass, because it was like he came in, dropped it, and was immediately disappeared.
Yeah.
And it was back to Christian McCaffrey. I don't know what's going on, if there's some doghouse stuff happening, but man, I saw Christian McCaffrey in most of that game, which I don't like to see.
Nah.
Because we all know he's a little fragile if he gets hit a lot. So,
or maybe he's not.
Or
like
maybe
he's
gotten past that. I don't know.
Yeah, you know, at a certain point, sometimes players gotta
take care of their body.
Yeah, and it's about their body, and then they gotta learn their body, and then remember, they're always trying to change their body. You know what I'm saying? So he came from a college. He came from Stanford. Went to drafted by Carolina. Was dominant. Then he had just learned his body. They overused him. I don't think Kyle Shanahan overused Christian McCaffrey. I know 22 carries is a lot, but if let's just say you didn't have Elijah Mitchell, you didn't have these other running backs in your stable, 22 carries is what you want your running back one to get, right? I mean, he is the one getting paid the money to carry the ball. So he needs to be able to carry the ball. So Christian McCaffrey always needs to be running back number one. What's going on, Melissa? So I if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
And maybe
right. No,
that's what Kyle Shanahan thought.
Me and my brother were talking about that. He's like, man, the one thing about your coach, he goes, and he's a Dolphins fan. He's like, sometimes he rides guys too hard and doesn't go to other players, to give them a breather. He goes, but I told him, I go, but at the same time, I said, Kyle believes in if something's working, why shy away from it? If guys getting 5-6 yards a pop and you just want to give him a breather for a breather's sake, but he doesn't, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And Kyle goes with the hot hand. Kyle is one of those kind of coaches. He rides it until the wheels fall off. That's just the type of guy he is. If somebody's having a great game, Kyle's going to keep feeding them. That's just the way he coaches. All of us that are on the sideline or are watching on television who know the Niners injury history are all like, oh God, I wish Kyle would, but that's not how Kyle thinks. Kyle doesn't think that way. And I mean, it worked yesterday. So I'm good with it. I thought McCaffrey, to me, I was interested to see what he would do with a full season. And yesterday was the first taste of that. I think if health happens with this team, I think we're going to be a pretty fantastically fun offense to watch. Just saying.
I'm gonna keep it a buck, and I'm not saying I expect Christian McCaffrey to get 65-yard touchdown plays, but
that was beautiful.
I will say this, and I've said this numerous times. I'm gonna say it so you guys can hear me this time. Every time Kyle Shanahan calls a play, it's for a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to understand that is our head coach's mentality. It may be everybody head coach's mentality, but I know for a fact every time Kyle calls the play, it's literally for a touchdown. I know we be like, oh, then why would we dink and dunk? No, listen, there are options on the play. There's always a big play factor even in the dink and dunk plays.
Yep.
Even in the dink. And then when you run the ball, if everybody is doing their job, because we got to talk about that 65-yard touchdown run. Because Christian McCaffrey, first of all, started with the offensive line. Offensive line, motherfucking, did exactly what they were supposed to do. So when those five guys get them hats on them other players, it's a wrap, right? Then Christian McCaffrey does his job, right? He makes the spin, and then he cuts to the outside. So he sheds the contact, he breaks a tackle, and then it's the last level, which are your wide receivers. This, my brother, is why if you can't block, rock. Feel me? Like, if you can't block, you don't get the rock. Brandon Aiyuk, even my man Ray scared me though, because when I went back to watch it, I was like, oh no. I thought he was gonna call a flag. But like the fact that Ray was still there, making sure he freed up the lane for Christian McCaffrey, and that is 11 players working together as one. And that's why I said every play that Kyle calls is really for a touchdown. If all 11 players execute their role, their assignment, it's a possibility that every play can result in 6.
This reminds me so much of the Bill Walsh offense, because everything in that offense was really meant to go for touchdowns as well. There was always an ability on that play. And in the way these receivers block back in the day with Rice and Taylor, how they used to block downfield, I know that has nothing to do with yesterday's game, but like there's so much.
People don't remember Jerry Rice and John Taylor blocking, bro.
Old school 49ers. And like, man, you got to be a selfless and not selfish player on this offense at wide receiver. If you're not willing to block and you're not willing to put your body out there to help a teammate, like you said, you're not getting on the field, man. Sometimes people make this team. People are like, oh, I don't know how he's going to make the team, but like maybe a special teams guy. He's just really good at special teams. Jawan Jennings, I mean, he's right? But he is an amazing blocker, right? And that's what I think keeps him on the field because, maybe Ronnie Bell doesn't block quite as well or another receiver
You're right.
doesn't block
He's
quite as
learning.
well.
Mhm.
So like sometimes your job might be predicated on your selflessness. And those two guys, man, that was an amazing run because Christian McCaffrey's quick, but he's not like Raheem Mostert fast, right?
Right. That's 100% correct.
So it was like a slow developing run, and then when he gets ahead of speed, it was great. That was the epitome of a team that knows what the end goal of the season is, and everybody's bought in. And the way that they block downfield, I know that people are like, "Well, that's a stretch." No, not really. It's great team football, man. You blocking for your guy, you're hoping your guy scores. Everybody celebrates together. That's the way it should be.
It is. Let's talk about Brandon Aiyuk. Let's talk about his it's a career game for him. At the time he had 100. He finished the game with 129 yards with 2 touchdowns. I don't know how I know this stuff by heart without looking it up, bro. Something's wrong with me. You want to know the most impressive stat on yesterday for Brandon Aiyuk? It was 8 targets for 8 receptions, bro. That's 100%. Wait a minute. 8 divided by 8 equals 1 times about. That's 100%. Brandon Aiyuk was 100%, y'all. 8 for mother freaking 8. Like that's crazy. And the thing was, he was winning all his routes. Like he was winning. I mean, listen, I like Patrick Peterson, but he's old. And I'm not gonna look, but if you're gonna talk the talk, you have to walk the walk. Mm-hmm. Now there was one interceptable pass that I thought Patrick Peterson was gonna pick off. Brock Purdy threw, but he dropped it, and that's why he's not a wide receiver. But I will say this: he got cooked, he got mossed. He got Aiyuked. Is there anything else that happened to Patrick Peterson? He got shut up. Yeah, okay. Then I'm shutting up. It's you talk. I see the super chat contributions. I'm going to read them right after Aaron makes his point about the wide receivers and Brandon Aiyuk.
I think Brandon Aiyuk's. I think his time has arrived, and that contract, that contract that he's searching for. Every time he puts out a game like this, that money goes up, 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 up. I thought he played amazing yesterday. His body positioning, like you said, the way he wins his routes, everything. His game has been refined from what he was early on. He's gotten bigger, stronger. Everything he's quick, he's nimble. He has his hands look beautiful. I was so when you think about it, like the amount of weapons this offense has, and to feel like we've never even tapped into Brandon Aiyuk. He was a 4th or 5th option on an offense, on a run-first offense, and now you could say, based on yesterday's performance, when it comes to the passing game, he may have become the number 1 option to get the ball on a week-by-week basis, just based on yesterday's performance. Like
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it because, and you know what? I'm glad that you said that. Let me give you the bell. Let's talk about it. Now, my man, Kali, I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to hang out. So, Kali, let me just explain to you what happened. So, my dad is currently in rehab, my biological father. And because my plans got derailed on Friday, because I didn't get to Pittsburgh until Saturday, I had to make time to see my dad because my brother, who texted me at midnight on Sunday morning, he sent me a message, and he had just, his father had passed. So the man that raised me because my dad was away, but the man that raised me passed away. So I was kind of discombobulated on Sunday. I
Sorry to
was
hear that.
there,
I did not know.
but I was there, but I wasn't there. So I'm home. I want to be with my brother. So I'm gonna do these shows and then definitely make sure I'm there for him, and whatnot. But so I was weird yesterday. I know my vibe was off, my energy was weird. People didn't know what was going on with me, but I just didn't expect to wake up to that, and it was just like, damn. But um, but what I was trying to say, Kali, I didn't get a chance to meet up with you because it made me say, Wayne, go see your dad. Right. And so, my dad, he be speaking all the crazy stuff, I gotta see this before I leave this earth and this is that. And I'm like, Dad, why you talk like that? But I got a chance to hang out with my pops, man, and he's doing well. He's in his right mind. He's doing well. He's trying to get out of that place where he is. But they had a piano, Aaron, and my dad said, "Can you play the piano? Because I feel like singing." I'm like, "You can sing?" So he was like, "Yeah, I can sing." I was like, "Oh, I guess that's where I got it from." So, we wheelchaired him into the room. And then the other residents at the place, they just came in. I put on a 45-minute concert from Motown to,
It's awesome.
to today's music, and they had a good freaking time, bro. Like, and it just made me, it made the trip complete. We got the win, but I got the real win. Like, you know what I mean? I got to see my dad smile and cry. Like, that was dope for me. So that's why I didn't get a chance to meet up with you, Kali. So my apologies, bro. But we definitely will get to chop it up soon. All right, fam. BA equals wide receiver 1. Yes. It's clear and present danger that Brandon Aiyuk is the guy. He is the main guy. He will get paid. Niners have money. I will tell you that right now. And here's why he'll get paid. Because now they'll have their wide receiver 1, and they can keep figuring out ways to churn out extra weapons. So you get your one wide receiver, it's not necessarily paying a bunch of guys. Now you get your serviceable guys, because Ronnie Bell will probably slide in and probably take the place of Ray McCloud, who's a free agent, or I'm not trying to get rid of those guys, Aaron, but I'm just saying they're going to be free agents. So you got a rookie now. You'll have a rookie going into
You
a
have to
second
save
year.
money. So you have to save money in places.
You understand the game.
Yeah.
And so this is why they draft, right? And remember, the Niners don't draft. The Niners have the luxury of not drafting for the current year. Why? They're good. So they can draft for a year in advance, and so that's what they do. They redshirt guys, right? And so I feel like the San Francisco 49ers are going to keep that wheel churning. And so as I don't see Debo going anywhere. I know a lot of people feel like Debo Samuel is going to be walking. No, he's not. No, he's not. Just because he's not the wide receiver 1, he is the weapon. He's the reason why I will say Brandon Aiyuk is able to feast. And hear me out. Debo Samuel, what you gonna do with him? You gonna be one-on-one with Debo, or are you gonna try to figure out a way to negate him? Christian McCaffrey, I know you're not gonna leave him one-on-one, right? Because if they split him out, wide him out, that's a touchdown. That's a mismatch nightmare. And then George Kittle, you're not gonna leave him one-on-one. So the teams have to pick their poison. It's all I'm trying to say, Aaron. They have to figure out who we going to focus on this week. And if Debo remains healthy, which is he's been the healthiest his whole career, if George Kittle remains healthy, if CMC remains healthy, I don't think the defenses they don't know what to do. So Brandon Aiyuk is going to see the best defender on him by himself, and he's going to cook the best defender, which is only going to make him better, which means Brandon Aiyuk is about to get paid, bruh, and from the 49ers.
Yeah. The way the Niners offense seems to work is they have about 4 or 5 guys that on any given Sunday can be the guy who Brandon Aiyuk and Christian McCaffrey were yesterday.
It's got to be my favorite football movie.
So maybe we go after it. It's probably one of the most realistic too. You could take out Christian McCaffrey, but then Debo might have a strong day, or Kittle might have a strong day, or Christian McCaffrey might have a strong day. I'm interested to see if the Niners ever decide to get Ronnie Bell involved with this current number, this starting offense, or like you said, are we not going to see the best of him until next year?
Yeah, this is not the listen. Let's give Ronnie Bell a round of applause, man. That kid, 7th round draft pick, made the active 53. And you can say he made it by default because he's a rookie in the night. No.
Hell nah, dude. He freaking earned that in the preseason.
He got the opportunities due to the injuries of Ray McCloud, right? He got the opportunity and he capitalized off of it. So he has areas where he needs to improve, and you called it earlier. You called it. It's a run blocking, and you heard the other wide receivers talk about it. This is why they're hard on him, right? I saw him on special teams yesterday, and I was like, oh man, he is ready to play. Like, he's ready to get out there. So will this be the year for him? Probably not. And it's because you don't have, it doesn't have to be. But God forbid, Aaron, if there's an injury, he'll get the opportunity. And I guarantee you he'll rise to the occasion because you watch him do it.
Yeah, I think he'll definitely rise to the occasion. And I'm sure Kyle can find ways to get him the ball.
If he wants to, yeah.
If Kyle can get guys involved, he's a really smart offensive coach. You can say what you want about him and losing conference championships and Super Bowls and the quarterback stuff. Everybody, we can beat on Kyle all day, but Kyle has a way of being able to make everybody in the offense be the number one guy, depending on the week, depending on the defense you're playing, depending on how, like you said, who they're gonna take away. So you can't stop everybody on this Niners offense. Somebody's gonna get you. And it's just a matter of how you limit that guy who's going to get you. The Niners, when they're clicking and they're not committing a lot of penalties and turnovers, this is a very almost impossible offense to stop. And, we talk about Brock Purdy and he's a dink and dunk quarterback and he's not talented. He doesn't have any, physical traits or whatever. But Brock Purdy knows how to run this offense. He runs it efficiently. The Niners get in and out of the huddle. They make their way down the field. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's quick to dissect what's happening on the field in front of him. Like I said before, you can have all the traits like Justin Fields, but if the mentals aren't there, then it's a wash, dude. Like, it doesn't matter if you can run a 40-yard dash. If you can't hit a wide open wide receiver on a slant or a crosser or a dig, what good are you? Like, what's the purpose of your existence in the NFL? So, yeah.
I feel you, but if that never was your forte, it will take time to adjust to that type of offense.
But you're a quarterback. The whole point you were drafted is to throw the ball, right?
To throw the ball, but if you're not, if slants aren't your wheelhouse, all right, because if you're talking about Trey, I felt like we saw it though this preseason.
I'm not really banging on Trey at all.
I know, but you're talking about quarterbacks in general, right?
I'm just trying to say a guy that has who has a set of skills like a Justin Fields. Like,
he was terrible.
You look at him and you look at Brock and you're like, of course I'm going with Justin Fields, right? He's taller, he's bigger, he's got a stronger arm, he can run really fast.
Oh yeah. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Brock has none of those things. But the mentals is where Brock is.
Felicia agrees with you.
Above everybody else.
Yeah.
Thank you, Felicia.
This
is the one time where I'm not going to say.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia. I'm actually.
Wait. Where's that?
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah. No, Felicia, stay. I was just playing. I just had to
we're just playing.
I had that queued up. No, but you're right? I'm saying that's why they had to move on from Trey.
That's exactly the point. Yeah.
The Niners didn't have the time to wait and see if he could do that, opposed to Brock is ready to go now. You got to get him in there. That's the bell cow of our offense when we're trying to throw the ball, because those quick slants and they're really like kind of like run plays, right?
They're an extension. Yep.
Their extension. It's a 3-yard slant, 5-yard slant, 7-yard slant, right? Boom. Get open, boom. The ball will be there. And then your guys make the magic happen. And that's who we are. And I just thought we were gonna try to open up the offense, not just spread it out. I mean, open it up. Go down the field, do whatever. Right. And you can see when Brock tries to do that, like, it's still not there. I'm not saying it won't ever happen. But let's talk about Brock, because I thought Brock relatively played freaking well, like extremely well.
I thought he played very well yesterday, other than that one fumble where he pinched it under his bottom.
That's because he didn't get rid of the damn ball, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Other than that, People are like, oh, he almost threw an interception. A lot of quarterbacks almost throw interceptions.
It's
Montana almost threw interceptions. He almost threw one in Super Bowl 23, and guess what? He didn't, and then
he
they
didn't.
won.
You know why?
So
Almost doesn't count.
it only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, and we wasn't playing that yesterday. Thank you.
Wait a minute. I had to drop the bomb on him. When you said hand grenades, that was the Aaron bomb. Bam! 49ers first takes. Boom.
Thank you. Tough acting, Tinactin.
Oh man, I ain't heard that slogan in a minute. Seriously though, Brock to me, I every time he got out on the football field, bro, I kept saying, give me some more. Give me some more. Because I knew I can feel Brock Purdy's confidence in all those yellow seats that we were sitting in. And I felt the people were like, who the hell is this? I'm like, you better recognize. They don't know Brock Purdy, right? Can I just give you this crazy freaking status? Two things. First of all, Brock Purdy is undefeated as a San Francisco 49er during the regular season. He's 6-0, bro, when he starts. 6-0? And he's the first quarterback, bro, to like throw consecutive touchdowns, 2 or more touchdowns in a game. Like, this dude, Brock Purdy, is official. I don't know, people want to see more, but man, fuck that, yo. Like, Pittsburgh defense is top tier. I don't give what anybody say now. You week 1 on the road against that defense. Let's talk about Minka Fitzpatrick. Let's talk about TJ Watt. They got suspect linebackers because on our show, what do we say? Feast over the middle. That's what you took advantage of.
Yep.
So Brock took advantage of that. It's like he had the scout report. We're going to chew these linebackers up. Y'all just run slants, get open throughout the middle. Patrick Peterson's always going to be a pro, but he just got beat by a better pro. That's what it was. That's what you saw in that matchup every single time. Him getting beat. Brock that fade throw.
That was beautiful throw.
Come on, the drop. That was a dropping. He dropped a bomb on him.
You know what he was saying? He was saying noodle arm this.
If Brock gets up and does that, and the league is getting fined $150,000.
So instead, he did that like little.
He did the finger. I thought he was telling you to smell the finger. That's what I thought.
He was giving the old Dirty Sanchez.
The way Nick Bosa described it at the presser, I thought he did like if you smell what the Brock is cooking. That's what I thought. You know what I mean? That's what I thought. Listen, we got Rams fans in here, and I tell you, man, that's who we got next. What a great game for Victory Monday. The 49ers literally pounded that steel. Like they melted
the Steelers.
They melted the steel. The temperature was so hot from the bay that they melted the steel. I like that. Mm-hmm. I like that a lot.
Probably going to be the title of one of my shows, to either with Raj or with Tracy Sandler. 49ers melt the Steelers.
I love it. Listen, Ramilia Sports Report, we are going to do a collab show this week because we got the Rams. And let's talk about this, man, because that's our next matchup. I have you here on Mondays. I'll get to Super Chats right after this. And then there's a couple of other questions, a couple of people that I highlighted throughout the show. Some people over on Facebook. Thank you guys for watching over there on Facebook. Make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe on the YouTube. The YouTube, guys, is where the community is. Mm-hmm. So, like, the YouTube community won't be able to see the Facebook comments. So if you have YouTube, join the YouTube channel. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about this matchup that we got coming up against the Rams, who are in first place of the NFC West. And it's because they beat the Steelers. So I want people to understand. I mean, they beat the Seahawks. I'm sorry. I want people to understand, like, that's why, they're in first. But they beat the Seahawks. They did. Any concerns about the Rams and going out to Levi's South, because I'll never call it SoCal.
Yeah, anytime you play a division rival, there's always a worry. They know you. They know what you do. They know
that's
how.
Optimistic. I love it.
They know your plays. They know exactly how you run things. But if we're going just based on talent, and I know talent doesn't always, guarantee you a win. But if we're just based on talent, team wise, Wayne, like we're way more talented than they are. Like in almost every place on the team. Yeah, I think the only place they might have us as far as physical talent is quarterback. But I'm pretty confident that they can go in there and get a win and start 2-0. I don't see that one matchup on either side of the ball that really has me all the way scared to like that they can't overcome. You know what I mean? So
Their young receivers did step up. Tutu Atwell, some of those guys, they stepped up. But Cooper Kupp is not going to be able to go, and I think the 49ers are going to be able to, watch some film. And so now that those guys were able to take advantage of the Seahawks not being able to get film on those guys, now the 49ers. And I will say this, isn't Kyle Shanahan's, hasn't he been, undefeated against Sean McVay during the regular season? So I at this point, this is a regular season game, and I expect nothing less. Now, I'm not gonna be mad at the fans from the Rams, to feel like their team is gonna win. You're supposed to, but come on, be realistic, y'all. Y'all ain't beat the 49ers except for that one time in the playoffs, which is the one that counted. And that's when y'all won y'all Super Bowl. Still can't beat them in the regular season. Don't expect them to beat us in the regular season. I'm not saying this game's going to be a blowout because it's a divisional game. Sean McVay will have tricks up his sleeve. Expect fake punts, fake field goals, fake whatever. Just expect it. Fourth down. Yeah, expect it, right? Because Sean McVay is going to want one day to beat his Jedi Master, so-called, So it's gonna be a good game, but I expect the 49ers to go in there and dominate. You know why? They left the game against the Pittsburgh Steelers with one injury to Ambry Thomas. He had a concussion, and then he cleared the concussion protocol. So they, as of now, they have 0 injuries. And if that defense is still fast and furious and the offense is still intact, and Nick Bosa now is going to have some practices under his belt, shoot.
This is one of those games where you look at it and it's like, Niners should be able to take care of business. We haven't hit the meat of the schedule yet. You know what I mean? Like these are the games when you see a schedule and you chalk up a win in March, it's because if you're the team that you think you're going to be or expect to be, this shouldn't be that hard of a game. It could be closer than yesterday's game was, but I just think the Niners are the better team in every aspect. And so if this isn't a win, something either catastrophic happens or the Niners just come out flat or there's a lot of turnovers and penalties, which is possible. But I just think if we're playing all things even, I think the Niners are the better team every day of the week and twice on Sunday. So hopefully we come out. I think we will come out 2-0 out of that game. I really don't see how it doesn't happen, but that's just, and I'm never optimistic. So
I know, that's why I said, wait a minute, you're optimistic. This is different.
I'm always a negative Nancy or a negative Nick or something, whatever you want to call it. I'm always like, I don't know.
I'm so excited that the 49ers.
You just can't hide it?
I can't. And I'm excited that they put the league on notice. I think that for me to watch the way that the offense, and I know the defense was fast and furious, but to watch the way that the offense moved.
Yeah.
I think Pittsburgh, in my opinion, their defense is better than the Rams defense. I think the Rams need linebackers as well. I think they're going to be strong up front, and they don't have a secondary, in my opinion. Like, they just don't have the players of the caliber that we're used to seeing in the secondary. I don't want to say they don't have anybody out there, but if the number one defender can't guard Brandon Aiyuk and Deebo Samuel, like the number six the quarterback ain't gonna be able to guard him neither. Like, you know what I mean? Jalen Ramsey would get Deebo'd every game. And whoever was guarding Brandon Aiyuk would get Aiyuk'd every game. Like, I'm not concerned about that. And Brock, to me, if he goes back and watches that film, he's gonna do what? get the ball out of his hand quicker. He's going to be like, okay, I feel it. I got it. Okay, I know my right side is being, compensated for. So let me roll to the left a little bit and maybe step to the side, a little bit, just to give him a extra second or something like that. I just
feel move he did yesterday, where he spun out of that pressure.
His run was amazing too.
Yeah. He's just this little guy that's just like, get down, no. But I don't know, man. Like he did that little whirly dervish thing.
That's what I'm saying.
And then he threw it to Debo. It wasn't the most accurate pass. Debo had to
Debo went to go up and he went up and got that joint. I remember Debo went up and got it, and I'm like, yo, this team is dangerous. But Debo was in a position where he wouldn't get hurt. He wouldn't get cracked. Like, it was still a good enough throw for his wide receiver to go ahead and get that pass. You know what I mean?
Debo was moving away from the defender when he caught it. It wasn't like he was coming into a defender's window and he was about to get popped. So that was man, Brock. I'm very confident. I hope I don't get made to eat my words. But
you're seeing some some people's faith is stronger than others. Some people see things a different way, and then some people, you're just listening to the story, and you need to see it to where it makes sense to you, where you become a believer, right? Not everybody is a believer until they have that moment that makes them become a believer. And I know Bishop Terradome, it was so good to finally meet you and Mrs. Terradome. They were out there. They were beautiful. It was beautiful. Beautiful. So great to meet you guys. And then you've been talking about Brock. You've been telling us the things and stuff like that. And you've been a Brock support. And I would reiterate that Brock Purdy has the it factor. That did not mean I wanted to see if the other one had the it factor. And we just didn't get an opportunity. Now Trey Lance is gone. So we move on. But now it's time to showcase everything that Brock Purdy can do. And he's our quarterback. So we have to sit there and get in line. And for me, I thought Brock Purdy was dominant. I know he wasn't flawless, but I just thought he played football 10 times better than the other quarterback. Yeah. 19 for 29, 220 yards, average 7.6 yards per pass, 2 touchdowns.
He had some good throws in there. He had a couple throws to the sideline. He had to throw over the middle to Aiyuk. That was like he has, he don't have a big arm, but his arm is serviceable. It gets the job done. You know what I mean? It's not like
I agree.
Can't make any throws.
I
thought he made some really solid throws yesterday. And, people want to take every bit of credit away from him, saying, "Oh, look at his numbers. That's a Garoppolo stat line." Yeah, but it's a different stat line. Like, it's not smoke and mirrors like we saw a lot of with Garoppolo. That was a legit stat line. Like, there was no mistakes.
Facts.
There was no stuff where you look and say, man, he got lucky on a couple of those. I didn't see that yesterday. I thought he played as flawless as he could, other than the fumble that he recovered himself.
His throws were pretty darn accurate, but then he has some misses, right? And so, but every quarterback's going to have misses.
You could pick apart till you're blue in the face and try to say, like, oh, there it is. There's the thing that's going to undo it all. Like, come on, stop it.
I agree. Listen, here's the thing, though. 29 attempts. That's it. Anything under 30 for Purdy, 30 and under for Purdy is good, right? Because now you're also running the ball, right? And so, like I said, the game was pretty much average, right? 34 rushing attempts, 29 passing attempts. And it's when the rush game works. I think what's going to happen is defenses are going to have to adjust if they're good enough, and they're going to force Brock to throw more. And remember, what was my key to victory in this game, everybody? Make Kenny Pickett throw the ball. 46 attempts. 46. That is really high for a guy not named like Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. That's ridiculously high. And even for them, that's high. That means they're not balanced, right? They're not running the ball. So like that to me is crucial. Matter of fact, they had 10 carries, bro. 10. And Kenny Pickett had one of them. So 9 carries from the running backs. The 49ers took away the run. When we play the Rams, you know what the 49ers are going to do? take away the run. And listen, I think whoever their quarterback is over there in LA, Matthew Stafford, I think he's much better than Kenny Pickett. But at the end of the day, if you make him throw 46 times, there's no way the Rams are winning that game.
No, you got to have balance. Balance in the NFL is key. Yeah. And I couldn't believe how little they ran the ball yesterday. Like they weren't like that was the Niners had that game won essentially in the first half when you see how unbalanced the Steelers are on being offensively. And then like even plays where the Niners rush wasn't completely in Pickett's face, he was making some errant throws. Like the pressure, he was, the seeing ghost thing or feeling the pressure, even though it's not near you kind of thing. The old Jim Everett back in the late 80s, when he would just get scared before pressure hit him. That whole thing that Jim Rome attacked. That's what I saw yesterday from Pickett. He was like, Niners were there, but they weren't necessarily like ready to collapse the pocket on him. And he was just making errant throws. So the pressure, it got to him. So,
he was seeing ghosts. That's what it looked like.
I really thought he was. That fourth down end zone toss that he missed.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. I never see that with the 49ers.
His timing was off, right? So it's like, because he was getting hit. Like the 49ers had pressures, right?
Yeah.
They were getting pressure. They weren't getting sacks, but they did finish the game, Team Cali, with 5 sacks in this game. Again, no sacks for Nick Bosa. Drake Jackson had 3, led the team in sacks. Kerry Hyder Jr. had a sack, and Javon Hargrave finished with a sack. All right, so those were Javon Hargrave got the last sack in the game, which was dope to see him playing all the way to the damn end. I love it, yo. I love it. Let's get real quick, like early score prediction for the Rams, and then we'll get on up out of here.
38-17.
Okay, I like it. You know what I like doing on Monday? I'm gonna give my score prediction like I did last time. My score prediction last time was it 21-13. I didn't think we needed to score more than 21 points to win that game, and they slapped me in the face. And I thought we would give up a touchdown and 2 field goals, but instead we only gave up a touchdown. So I'm going to stick with that. I don't think the Niners give up more than 9 points in this game. So I'm going to go with 31-9. I think the 30 number is our number. Anything over than that is an outlier. I could live with that. So I'm going to start with 31-9. I know it's a weird number. We didn't talk about Jake Moody here, and that's fine. But don't worry, because at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the No Harm, No Foul show, we're going to talk about Jake Moody, all right? We're going to talk about the mood swings. So make sure you guys tune into that. Let's get to some Super Chat contributions. And there were a couple questions I wanted to get to as well. But those that gave Super Chats, here's your foghorn. We truly appreciate the Super Chats that come in. All right, you guys are touching down for real. Mimi B, you gave 2 Super Chats. I was going to ask you if you wanted to just make a comment of the first one, but thank you for the $10 contribution as well as the 5. And here's her statement. Great to be back and hear some positivity after a dominant win. Had to step away for the offseason. Our fan base was wilding out. Good to be back. I had mental breakdowns. It was crazy.
Tripping, man. And there's some of them are still tripping. Just, like, let it go. The season started. Why are we Yeah, exactly. Go. Man, go watch Frozen or something. Like, I don't understand. Like, she's 100%
that was my movie,
right.
By the way, she is.
What? My nieces watched it when they were young. I tried to get them to watch it a little older. Like, we don't watch that anymore.
Oh, they let it go out. All right, 49ers Shane Breezy, what up, bro? I'm North Star from Twitter. What's going on, North Star? All right, I'm a long-time listener and excited for this season. First of all, thank you for the contribution. You get the touchdown sound. All right, and we appreciate you, man. I know exactly who you are. Thank you so much for the Super Chat contribution. Listen, everybody is ready to watch this 49ers. The 49ers look like they have the best damn team in football. They do. I don't care if Dallas put up 40 points. Their offense didn't. All right, I'll leave it at that. Okay. Jax Knox with the Super Chat contribution. 17-0. 1 down. 16 to go. I don't know. Which you still optimistic about this, right? Because I know I am. I'm keeping it a buck. There's a tough stretch of travel that the Niners have to do going from east to west rather quickly, and it's kind of tainting my undefeated season. But it can happen, like Jack says.
100%.
Aaron is like, I'm not touching that. I'm not.
Well, no, because okay. So the Giants game's on a short week, correct?
It's on a Thursday night, but it's the first home game.
That worries me. That worries me a little bit. And I think we should freaking swipe the floor with the Giants. To be honest with you, like, man, we're going.
Bro, if we struggle against that Giants team that I watched all night long, I will be pissed. I'm pissed. All right, Lionel. When I tell you I will be pissed, I will be more than pissed. I will be Calvin and Hobby's pissed. I would be so mad that I wouldn't be able to figure it out. If they let Daniel Jones,
Danny Dimes,
and if he does anything other than run on us, I will be upset. That dude can't complete a pass to save his life.
100%.
I can't wait till we break down that game. I can't wait till we start talking about that. That's week 3. Ladies and gentlemen, Niners' first home game against the Giants. Now, we'll see how the Giants bounce back from the massacre on Sunday Night Football. But, hey, it is what it is.
You got to remember, it is week 1. Rome wasn't built in a day. I'm not trying to bang on the Niners and say, like, be careful. We might not be this good. I think we are this good. But I'm just saying some teams start really slow. And we've been known to start slow and then finish strong. So just I like to take everything a week at a time, or at least give it like a piece of the season. Like say 6, you have a pretty good vibe what your team is over about 6 weeks. You know what I mean?
Got you. Yeah, you'll know. Right. Yeah, you're right. I totally get where you're coming from.
Like if you're a flippy floppy team that win loss, where you're like you can't get anything going, then you kind of know that. Like the Niners, I think, as long as they win the turnover battle and they run the ball, I think they can win pretty much every game on the schedule. I don't see any game on the schedule that is just an unwinnable game.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. That's that 17-0 mentality. Tony from Facebook says, the drive Pitt scored on would have never happened if Kyle runs the ball on 3rd and 15 when Steelers has no timeouts. He chose to throw the ball and had to punt anyway. So not only did he throw the ball, we had to punt. Steelers would not have scored a TD on that drive if we ran the ball on 3rd and 15 because we could have ran down the clock more. And I think one of my issues with Kyle Shanahan, and I don't know if it's a mismanagement of the time clock. I don't know if you pay this any attention. I'm going to be honest with you, Tony. At the stadium, I wasn't paying this any attention. I was all over the place. My mind, everything. Like my eyes, I was videotaping. Like I was just all over the place. But what are your thoughts on this?
They were a little bit, yeah. The play clock, the management of the play clock was a little bad yesterday. I don't know who's fault it was.
He had to call a couple of timeouts. I remember that.
I don't know if it was. I know Brock was having trouble hearing something.
Okay.
He was getting pissed off. He was tapping on his helmet and he was yelling at somebody on the sideline. So maybe somebody wasn't relaying the plays in quick enough, or he couldn't hear Kyle. So it could have been one of those things where like they couldn't hear because of the noise, or maybe they were having some headset difficulties. But yeah, I saw it. It's nothing that can't be fixed. But it was taking them a while to get in and out of the huddle quick. Like every time they were out of the huddle, they were like 10 seconds left. And I'm like, what is taking so long? You know what I mean? Like, why isn't there more of a sense of urgency to get that play in and out of the, in from the headset and out the mouth? You know what I mean? Like, what was the problem yesterday? So again, didn't affect us in the long run, but it's definitely something that I think, can affect you in games that are against better teams that end up being closer. It's always those little things. So hopefully they figure that out against the Rams or the Lambs or whatever you want to call them.
I think what Tony was referring to, and I know some people in the chat are saying, no, we lost. And we did. I mean, they scored because of this or whatever. And you're right. Like that also is what happened. But I think what Tony is saying, he's like, foreshadowing, saying, he's going backwards saying like, well, if we would have done this, we had the opportunity to run out a lot more clock. We could have played a different style of defense, and maybe the prevent would have worked with less time on the clock, giving up the underneath stuff, opposed to like
Right.
those things. And so like that's my thing. Like you have the running backs, and you didn't have to use Christian McCaffrey. You have a plethora of backs, right? You could have used Jordan Mason. You could have used Elijah Mitchell. Like those guys were active. Like you could have brought them in there to chew up clock. And on 3rd and 15, halfback draw. Like it's the simplest play ever. That's not even in our wheelhouse, but imagine if we did it, it probably would have been successful because the Steelers wouldn't have been paying attention to it. But if you just have one back in the backfield, hike that ball, let the back get as many yards as he can, it's going to take off 30 seconds of the clock. Boom. Now you're cooking. You give him way less time.
I will say one thing too that wasn't talked about today. I don't know what is going on with the kickoffs. Why is Wisnowski kicking off, and why is his legs so weak?
He has the better leg. So like Mitch is the thing I like about Mitch, he's not experimenting, but he has this weird spin on the ball, and he's trying to get that team. Like the first one was in the end zone, ball touchback, and then after that, he wants them to take it out. I think the special teams want them to return the ball because the way our special teams can cover, and I think that's what you want. I mean, they had a couple of big gains, but that dude was quick. I don't think you can get that many quick dudes throughout the regular season. And I think in this particular game, you're up by a large lead, so you're just going to try that spin. But if you remember the first kickoff, it was a touchback. And then after that, he was trying to get it into a certain position to give his special teams guys some time to get down there and maybe probably force a fumble or something. Like get a turnover.
I didn't know that he was experimenting. I just thought his...
Yeah. No, it's nothing wrong with his leg.
I thought Jake Moody was the kickoff guy. I had no idea.
Well, Mitch has been it for the past several seasons because we've been dealing with Robbie Gould, and Robbie Gould doesn't have the strength to kick off. Plus, Jake Moody's coming back from that injury, and so you probably just want his quad to kick field goals. 3 for 3. Just want to put that out there. 3 for 3. 3 for 3. 3 for 3. All right, so
he looked really good. Yeah,
he did, and all his balls went down the middle. Pause. All right.
Yeah.
Real quick, Anthony, Breezie, what position are we going to go? We're going to upgrade at the trade deadline. He thinks it's a tight end. What are your thoughts?
Right tackle.
Right tackle. I don't think it's any of them. Matter of fact, I don't think they do anything at the trade deadline unless there's an injury.
Very true. If the Niners have a good winning record, unless they're really struggling, I mean, they have enough receivers. Yeah, I mean, tight end could be it, but like, who gets a tight end at the trade deadline? Like, I don't know.
Be a tough one to get. Like, who would you go after? You already have George Kittle. You don't want to pay another tight end, right?
Right, and it's not like you use Kittle all the time. Kittle is, hit and miss with his touches. So, like, why would you bring in another guy? Well, for water it down even more. So,
yeah. Well, it could be. I mean, if you bring in a guy like. Can you imagine Darren Waller and George Kittle on this offense?
That wouldn't be fair. I would if I was Purdy, I would just throw to those two guys all game.
But that's my point, right? So like, it could be something like that. But all the trades that we make, it was for a position that we needed, and I don't think they need a tight end. George Kittle is healthy, so I don't think they need a tight end, Anthony. But as far as right tackle, I don't think they need a tight end. Listen, Cole McKivitz got worked. He gave up 5 pressures, guys. He gave up 3 sacks. He gave up a hit and a hurry. All right, that was against T.J. Watt. So like, I expect him to be better because Aaron Donald's not lining up on the outside. Now Spencer Burford might get worked a little bit, but they may put him on the outside. But Colton McKivitz by far is not the weakest link, and I'm keeping a buck. I think he'll play better against a guy like Aaron Donald. It's just the way his body's built. I think he'll be able to handle a pressure from Donald more. And this is not a shot at Donald. It's just the way that the two clash of the Titans would collide, opposed to some type of speed edge rusher and TJ Watt who got ninjutsu moves and can do short Ryukins and get around guys like that. That's tough.
He does even a little Falcon punch once in a while.
I seen the Falcon punch, and I guess you want to know something? I bet you they didn't put his ass over there on Trent Williams' side. So you get what I'm saying? Like what
about Brian Burns at a trade deadline?
Oh,
my brother's like, why did you need him? I'm like, why not?
That means that a lot of your money
Yeah.
would be in the defensive end. You usually only pay one,
Right.
but I would love it.
Oh, hell yeah.
The NFL would freaking veto that junk. The NFL would David Stern that trade, bro.
Sorry, too much talent.
Yeah,
Sorry.
they would David Stern that joint, bro. If you guys know David Stern, he used to be the commissioner of the NBA. I'll never forget. Chris Paul was going to the Lakers. I was like, Lord, they about to kill the league. And I was like, oh, and this was when Chris Paul was in his prime, right? I was like, oh man, that's cheat code, right? And it happened. The trade went through, and David Stern was like, nah. And I think that's when he ended up with the Clippers or something like that. Like he went to another team. So
that'd be like, right. Like you'd have him in with Nick Bosa and Hargrave. Like that's just, I'm not saying it's a guaranteed Super Bowl trophy, but it's pretty damn close.
The NFL would beat that. Shout out to Ramillion Sports Report. He always tunes in. Listen, Brock Purdy meets Aaron Donald on Sunday. I don't think Aaron Donald gets to Brock Purdy on Sunday. I'm that confident in the offensive line. That's how confident I am. What they will have to do, Aaron is going to have to stunt. He's going to have to do something different, and it's going to take a lot of his energy. And he's still a top 3 defensive lineman in the league, easily. He might number 2, number 2, because Nick Bosa to me is number 1. Aaron Donald be number 2. Myles Garrett 3. Yeah. But my point is, I don't think he touches Brock Purdy on Sunday. Not from the interior. And maybe not from the exterior. Again, and no, we didn't see from Nick Bosa yet, his stunts, because he doesn't have his legs under him yet. So this is gonna be a great matchup to see what he does.
Bosa looked tired yesterday.
I thought I wasn't gonna say it. That was not gonna come out of my mouth, but I thought it. Yeah. I thought it. I had the tweet queued up, and I was like, nah, good vibes. Good vibes. There was one more I wanted to get to. My man Jerry. He says, Breezie, I want to see Kyle. I don't think we will ever see this. I want to see Kyle keep the gas on the game. He lets off often.
Yeah. Yes, you just don't want to get people hurt, though, man.
Yeah, but you can't play football, right? You can't have that mentality saying, I don't want to get people hurt. You still had a lot of game left.
If you're up 35-0 at the end of the third quarter.
That's different.
So you're saying if you're up at halftime, you still, oh, yeah, I guess so.
Hell yeah, you got a whole quarter.
It's hard to, with the history of the injuries with this fan base, it's hard to convince people that is the right thing to do. Okay. That keeping players in when you're up 6 scores or 5 scores, we're just so snake bitten with injuries all the time that it's like anytime we have a chance to pull guys out, and put in backups, you do it. But I understand, like I would love to see a 50-point game like we had against the Panthers a couple years ago. That'd be beautiful.
It would be beautiful. It would be. Guys, we're going to wrap this show up. I got 30 minutes to get to the no harm, no foul set, but we do appreciate you guys. Aaron, I love you, bro. You made my Monday great. I got energy from you, and I know you feel like you don't bring me energy, but
it's hard. Behind this, you have a
yeah, but I was low before the show, and then somehow you got it out of me. Like, so I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
I appreciate you. I know this is like a love thing, but seriously, like, no, everybody's got stuff going on in their real life. Like you said, you know, you're still trying to keep a relationship with your birth father. I don't have I'm like, I lost my dad 10 years ago, this October 31st. So anytime when I hear people like, you know, and you got to make things right, I want to make sure we do this and that, you know, before someone passes. That's a great thing to do. So like, yeah, I'm totally for that. So yeah, if I could bring any energy, or at least just the fact that I'm super kind of high on the Niners right now. And if you weren't feeling that at the beginning, but I got you to feel it by the end of the show, then my job is I accomplished my purpose. So.
Listen, I appreciate it. Let everybody know what you got going on this weekend, and then we'll check out. Matter of fact, you could take us out, and I'll just hit the end button, the outro.
All right. We got me and the guys tonight, Niners Coast to Coast on, I think it's Bryant Culp, if you guys know who Bryant Culp is. On his channel, it's me, David McNiner, Ty Alston, who's from East Coast Red and Gold Podcast, and myself. Tuesday, I will be interviewing Tracy Sandler
Hey,
at
go
4
blue.
p.m. East, or was it 4? No, it's 7 p.m. Eastern time. And then I'll have Raj from RSF 49ers at 10 p.m. Then Wednesday, I will be on with my guy Ted from Ted Talks Ball at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And
I'm
I
going to
don't
be
know.
in that chat because I'm going to chew Ted up. Ted,
Chew them up, spit them out. What about? I mean, it's up in the air. I don't know what me and Breezy are having this coming weekend.
oh, we might be able to do something Saturday, or
Okay.
if let's just let me know your time. I do have a wedding, but it might be later throughout the day,
Yeah,
so we
because
can figure it out.
I get out of work Saturday by 1 p.m. So
Okay, we'll figure it out.
we could do like a preview of the Rams game. It's going to be a lot of positivity. I'm just letting you know right now.
Perfect.
And yeah, and I have a pretty full slate. But that's pretty much it, man. You guys in Breezy's chat, you guys are fantastic. You guys are super supportive and interactive. So I can understand why though, because Breezy's the man. So it's good stuff.
You gotta look at these comments when you get a chance. Go back and just read the comments. Don't read them now. They are funny. Listen, I love Ted, but he's got to stop because you can't degrade a player that played well. It's just that doesn't make any sense. But Brock Purdy is doing exactly what Brock Purdy needs to be doing, and the 49ers are winning. So at this point, listen, he's the quarterback, and it's time to accept it. That goes to everybody, not just Ted. He's our quarterback. Accept it. Move on, and let's continue winning. And I think that's the only thing I care about, Aaron, is going to the mother parade. I keep telling y'all that. And I ain't talking about Carnival. I'm talking about the 6th Lombardi Championship parade where I could take off on a Tuesday, a Monday, or whatever day they want to do it. And I'm in California, and it better be in San Francisco, not no damn Santa Clara. And I will be out there, and I will be eating whatever. I'm just going to be in the float. I can't wait.
If I have to take a trip to the West Coast for a parade, that would be the most worth it thing ever.
Facts.
I might paint my body, guys. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait a minute. You should do the split like in your hat. Like the way your hat is. Like, why not, man? You got to go all out. Listen, we love y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We'll be back Wednesday, regular time. So it'll be at 1 p.m., not 2 p.m., all right? So make sure you check it out. Matter of fact, Wednesday is the Trivia Challenge Day, so make sure you guys tune in, all right? Again, tonight, 4 p.m., No Harm, No Foul with Mike Andrews from Nothing But Niners. 8 p.m. Nitty Gritty Niners Talk. The crew's going to be here, and we're going to be previewing this LA game after we recap the game that we just massacred the Pittsburgh Steelers in, all right? We love y'all. Stay up, stay faithful. Thank y'all so much for the Super Chat contributions, and don't forget to follow us everywhere. Love you. Peace.
I be sipping gold bar, whiskey on the rocks, and a 24 karat gold on a watch. My 7-1 Chevy be tipping non-stop, sounding like Trent Williams on the block. So you know we can't stop, we be banging through your speakers. Wayne Breezie on the field or in the bleachers. You can tune into my show and I'm a teacher. Wayne Breezie, the 4-9 preacher.